small team of people to care for cultural objects from Australia and the Pacific that are held in the British Museum. I undertake research both in the British Museum and in other museums in the UK that hold cultural materials, and I work with colleagues and communities in Australia and museums in the UK to write articles and publish the findings, and thinking about ways to make these collections accessible to people globally, whether on display in the British Museum or through virtual means through the internet and other means. Well, I long had an interest in history, and also particularly Aboriginal history due to my own Aboriginal ancestry from Tasmania. But when I finished university with a degree in history and anthropology, I wasn't quite sure what direction to take. And it was really by accident that I saw a new course in museum studies, and I had memories of my childhood visiting the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery. So I thought, aha, this might be an interesting path to choose. And I'm so pleased I did choose that path, because it's given me so many different opportunities within Australia and in Britain and in Europe. Well, I think partly because being an Aboriginal person, I was very passionate about finding connections between objects in museum collections and the communities from which they came. And this came from my own experience doing some research in the early 1980s and finding out that a basket that was previously unidentified as such in Museums Victoria in Melbourne was actually made by my Aboriginal ancestor. And that was such a powerful emotional moment to me. I thought, if that does that to me, how can I develop those experiences for other Aboriginal people and making those connections? So I think that's been one of my driving motivations, to understand and properly document what is in collections, and then to make those objects known in whatever ways I or a museum can to the people to whom they mean the most. I'm hoping that through my work at Deakin University, I can share with students and others some of the learnings I've had in a career in museums spanning some decades, and also I can work with museums and communities to make better known the many important objects in Australian museums, and to also think about ways in which objects in museums cross disciplinary boundaries, because often they're still categorised as natural history, cultural history, or art, yet Indigenous perspectives cross all those categories. So how can museums work to overcome those Western historical knowledge divides and look at these collections in new ways? It's a wonderful experience to move institutions to learn new knowledge and skills. So my advice would be, get as much experience in different institutions as you can, because each institution will provide new experiences and knowledge.